Boop. Happy Tuesday. Today it's Tuesday, May the 18th, 2021, and today's daily Bible readings come to us from Psalm 115, Numbers 8, 5 through 22, and then Titus 1, 1 through 9. I'm going to take a look at Numbers 8, 5 through 22 because, you just can't get enough of the book of Numbers, right? Anyway, so I'm going to talk about laying on of hands because we've been kind of following this thread through the Old Testament here in the DBRs lately, where it's talking about the institution of the priesthood, right? The priesthood of Israel. Spent a lot of time talking about Aaron, who is he is the first of the Levites, right? He is the chief priest. Well, once you get him ordained, as it were, then what happens next is that the rest of the Levites are then elevated, right, to God's possession. In the New Revised Standard Version, it talks about them as being an elevation offering, which is kind of interesting. So once they've got Aaron situated, right, Moses taking care of all that, the people have gotten Moses all good and propped up and set up, got him anointed and cleansed and everything, and he's the chief priest ready to go, then he and the people turn around and they take the rest of the Levites, the rest of this tribe, and it says they laid hands on them and declared them as an elevation offering to God. Just like they might have done for an animal, that they might declare holy unto the Lord, or maybe like a gift of grain or even a gift of money. So when they came out of Egypt and they had collected all these spoils, they plundered the Egyptians as they were leaving. It says that God told them just to go to their neighbor's house and be like, hey, those bracelets you got, I really like those. And the Egyptians were like, oh, here, take them. Please get out of town. And those things were declared, they were elevated, given over wholly to the Lord's use for the building of the tabernacle. So the interesting thing here is it's not things, it's not animals, it's people that are being elevated to God's whole possession, God's sole possession. The text says, present the Levites before the Lord as an elevation offering from the Israelites, that they may do the service of the Lord. So here we have this whole tribe out of all the tribes of Israel that is being elevated solely to God's use, God's service, God's possession. It's an idea that we hear about in the New Testament when New Testament talks about Corban, except by then, of course, like very many things that Jesus dealt with, it was being abused. If you remember where he challenges people saying, don't talk to me about your laws and stuff, because the law says you shall honor your mother and father, but then you take money that you could use to help your elderly parents and you say, oh, this is Corban. This is dedicated to the temple. Well, that's not right. And that's the idea that, well, I can't touch this money and use it for anything else because I've declared it Corban and it's solely for God's use. And Jesus is calling them out because I think the idea is that they weren't really dedicating it to the temple. They were just using it like their Swiss bank account, so nobody else could get a hold of it. But this idea of something dedicated wholly to God and his service, his exclusive possession. But here it's the people lifting up a whole tribe to God's service. So the people are delivered from Egypt. God claims this tribe. They set up Aaron. They set up the Levites, and those people belong wholly to God for his service. Anyway, it's kind of interesting because, we've been led out of bondage by Jesus, and Jesus has been set up. As you go on and read the New Testament, Paul does a really good job of explaining this, and he's been set up as the eternal high priest, and we are serving in the priesthood behind him, which is interesting because then maybe a lot of the stuff that we do should be wholly for God's pleasure and God's service and not so much for our own. But anyway, that's the DBR for today. We'll be back tomorrow with another DBR. Get out, enjoy the good weather, and we'll talk to you later. Boop.